Greetings, fellow Americans. Susanna for President 2028. Welcome to the 2025 edition of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Fireside Chats. Obviously, amending the Constitution takes a constitutional convention. Before one is set up, though, we should absolutely have the legislation, the amendments ready, and the people sign off on those amendments before the convention. This is one of the ways that we conduct business as a people, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we should do it more often, actually. Having a preliminary people's vote is essential to ensuring that the delegates that we send to the convention know exactly what the people want and can guarantee that they will vote the way of the people. We, the people, are the government. The legislation may come in multiple forms. It may be voted on and maybe even passed before the National Recovery Act is passed. But many of the amendments that I propose already are part of the National Recovery Act. So they would need to be officially added to our Constitution through a convention. The point is, though, that we have millions of people here. And it's time for us all to fulfill our duty to the Constitution. I will be announcing some petitions that I'm creating myself, and ones that I am also signing and passing along so that more people can support them. These are ones that I feel are important. And I will have an easy access page to all of the petitions that I support on my website, SusannaTannerForPresident.com. I do have one in particular that is already circulating, and it's only been circulating for a short time, maybe about a week. And I will post that petition link in the description for this video. This one deals with our gun laws. Now, real quickly, this particular petition is calling for psychological evaluations for all gun owners, not just an initial psychological evaluation, but a yearly psychological re-evaluation, just to keep up with record. It's to help support and to secure the communities, to secure our nation, and I believe that it is appropriate. It is appropriate to require, especially if you are going to be a civilian that owns a firearm. On the flip side of things, there are many of our agencies that benefit our nation, and so we should keep those up and running. The National Financial Restructuring Act ensures that agencies throughout the government and our nation are paid for. This act does multiple things. It adjusts our tax bracket system. It also redirects certain taxes to specific areas of our nation that need funding, need that boost in funding, or need to make sure that their funding is just covered. Now, to some degree, this is already done, but it's actually not successfully improving our nation. It's done very poorly, and it doesn't fund our nation correctly. The National Financial Restructuring Act adjusts the portion of our systems that need to be funded through taxes. Everything that's funded is part of our support structure. So we need it until we don't need it. And then when we don't need it, we can send that funding to another area that does need it. Sorry, just a minute. lost my place where I was reading my notes. Yeah, pretty far. So, this is actually part of, since it's part of the National Recovery Act, I should mention that this is actually part of my run for House of Representatives in 2026. See, everything that is in the National Recovery Act can be applied at the state level. And eventually, that is going to make our state a self-sufficient state, meaning we will not need to rely on any federal funding to ensure that our people are supported in necessary areas in the state of Washington. It will also cover, it also covers things like the Right to Repair Act, which basically says individuals who repair their own vehicles or their own homes or other types of mechanisms are also valuable to our economy. Since we don't always have the appropriate amount of mechanics or professionals to service those items, there's often a wait time. And some people don't need that. They can do it themselves, such as simple things like changing your oil, changing a tire. If you're pretty knowledgeable and you have the tools to do it, you can even change an engine. But it's things like that that are covered under the National Recovery Act and that can be applied to the state level. And the ultimate goal with making a self-sufficient state is to encourage others to be a self-sufficient state, like Oregon and California. The more self-sufficient states that we have in our union, the more self-sufficient our entire nation is going to be. And by creating a self-sufficient nation, we improve our world economy. We are going to be able to help other countries become self-sufficient nations. And we will not be expending excessive amounts of money to do so. It won't be necessary. So there's also going to be, we already have levies and certain taxes in each state that are used to pay for different things that we need. So readjusting those, some of those, not all of them, is going to definitely help with the self-sufficiency aspect of every nation and with every state and with our entire nation. I believe that we can actually do this without adding a state tax to our system. Although we can implement different avenues for funding the education system, our local education system. And we have a significant economy here in Washington State. We have different terrain as well. We have mountain regions, watery regions, and desert regions. Farmland, rivers. We have, in Puget Sound, we've got a very large body of water that we can traverse. So, adjusting our finances in much of the same way at the federal level and the state level ensures that within the state, all of our cities have the funding that they need for essentials. It ensures that our infrastructure, our local infrastructure, is taken care of. It's funded. It's helping our economy to blossom and to grow. It benefits each state. It benefits babysitters. It benefits basically everyone down to the poorest homeless person and all the way up to the corporations that are based out of Washington. It improves the lives of our people, which is what we want. We want to improve the lives of our people. All around, we want to improve those lives. Now, I've thought about something a couple of different times and considered this aspect, and that's tariffs. Currently, okay, so traditionally, Canada and Mexico, we have not really utilized tariffs because they're our immediate neighbors. We literally share a border with them, and that's great. If we were to implement any tariffs, this is something that I would want the people to vote on. And the reason is because the tariff would go to a very specific area of our nation. Now, this could be the transportation industry, just to give it a boost, but it could also be something else. So if it were to be implemented, it would be like a backup tax. It would be a backup funding option. And it would be an option that individuals could easily opt into, like on their W-2 form or even when they file their taxes each year. The tariff would only kick in emergency situations like disaster relief and such. But it would be elective. It would definitely be elective. A backup source of funding does need to be an elective. And for a tariff, if we did decide to implement a tariff, it would only be paid by the people. There would be the people of our nation, because we are the ones that would be voting on it. And we would never expect Canada or Mexico to implement a tariff on their people. We would only be utilizing a tariff like this if it was for extra funding that we needed. I honestly have thought about what percent was appropriate for such a tariff, and I honestly would not go above 1%. A 1% tariff. I'd like to have it at a 0.5%, but if it was something to be implemented, I would definitely go as high as 1%, but no higher. These are things to think about as we move forward. One more note. The next 2 weeks, there is not going to be a Fireside Chat live on Sunday, but there will be episodes released on Wednesday, pre-recorded. Another note, I should say there was 2 more notes. I am beginning the process of transferring my Fireside Chat from my current account to a new account, and I will have the link to that here very soon for all of my followers on my current channel. I believe I only have 22 followers, and I do value all of you, so I do appreciate it. But I wanted to let you know that so that you could still follow my Fireside Chats, and this channel will still be active until November of this year. That is all for today. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity.